Hello, my name is Sheyi Fabi. I welcome you to my YouTube channel. Today, uh, first, I want to apologize for being offline for several weeks because I was busy on some projects. But today, we want to look at the reasons why you should learn at least one free open source GIS software which we popularly refer to as Force for GIS. Open free and open source GIS software is very necessary if you want to be an expert or you want to be a professional or you want to gain traction in application and the practice of geographic information systems. You need at least to learn and be competent and be proficient in at least one free open source GIS software. Today, the most popular free open source GIS software is Quantum GIS, which is shortened to QGIS. QGIS is very vast, and every day there are several applications being developed as scripts or as application add-on, as plugins that are expanding the capacity and the versatility of QGIS. I'm going to advance five major reasons why you need to adopt and employ and use open source GIS software and why you should learn QGIS. I'm also going to take you to the interface of QGIS. Before the advent of QGIS, we have ArcGIS. We started with ArcInfo. From ArcInfo, it became ArcView. From ArcView, it became ArcGIS. Is the most extra product. Is the most popular proprietary GIS software, especially when we are looking at the vector-based applications. But with the incoming of QGIS, uh, map window, other form of open source GIS, the trend has been that many people are shifting to the open source GIS software. Proprietary software are very expensive. One of the reasons that proprietary software are very expensive and uh, the application of GIS is most relevant and useful in developing world, in developing countries, because that is where a lot of the spatial decision making are very critical for the progress, for the development of the economy, and for the survival of humankind. So the area where GIS is highly needed for development outcomes are in the developing countries. And these countries are limited in terms of budget to make decisions. That is why you see a lot of these proprietary software are pirated in the developing countries because they cannot afford they have limited budget to implement projects. So by the time you put the purchase of software or acquisition of software, proprietary software into the budget, it escalates the budget, it makes the budget unimplementable for developing countries. That is why it is necessary to adopt or to employ, to utilize open source, free and open source GIS software. Another thing that is very critical and very necessary is that the open source GIS software now are becoming as users friendly as the proprietary software. One of the challenges we have in the initial advent of open source software is that they are very unfriendly. Some of them demand you to write script, some of them demand you to have some knowledge of one programming language or the other. But now it has become window based, click and draw experience because of the due to different people who are contributing their skill, their proficiency into developing and improving on the package. Therefore, the same way the proprietary software are now users friendly, the open source GIS software are as well as user friendly. What it will take you to learn proprietary software is the same thing that we help you to learn, that you take to learn, the same effort that you put in to learn proprietary software like ArcGIS, Idrisi, EDAS Imagine, or some of those packages, the same effort it will take you to learn QGIS. Another thing that support system. Support system for the proprietary software is very, very corporate and very, very established. That is why most time people prefer proprietary software to introduce to beginner, because when they are stuck, they have a customer care to call, and then there will be a response. They will be trained, then they can be trained. Some of those proprietary software have uh, training unit where they train on how they utilize the packages, and when there's an issue, there's a customer support. But now the the open source GIS software also have community of users, and the community of users are even more responsive than even the customer care, because when you raise a ticket in the proprietary software, it takes time before the customer care respond, because most time the customer care is not knowledgeable in that component of the problem you are having. So you have to pass it to the technical unit, and technical unit need to provide an answer, which now before it now comes to the user, or who is raising the ticket for the customer care. But in the open source software, we have a community of users, people who are using it on a regular basis, and they can communicate with each other, and in a matter of minutes you are able to get somebody who has encountered similar problem with you, that you are currently encountering, and they can provide solution. So this was making the open source GIS software to be very, very, very relevant in our current context. Another reason is that most development partners like WHO, World Bank, UNDP, UNICEF, most of them are tilting towards open source software, because they are not prepared. They are not prepared to use the grant provided or even the loan provided to purchase proprietary software. Most of those proprietary software require renewal of ticket. They require an update. They require regular update. And all the regular updates are also needed to be paid for. So they require maintenance. And when you are maintaining it, you are paying. But once you have open source software, you are paying nothing. The only thing you need to know to have is the knowledge, is the skill to use it. And then when there's another update, you just remove that one. You just remove the one you have, and then you download the new one, and then you install. Free and simple as that. So some of these reasons make it very, very necessary that if you want to be proficient, you want to go places in GIS, you need to learn free and open source GIS software. That is why I am in my YouTube channel. I've been involved in giving you different versions of open source GIS software, open source GIS resources on the internet, open source free open source data these are things that can help us to develop in the developing countries without capital flight, without spending huge resources to obtain software and also to get data like satellite data. So the focus on my YouTube channel is how you can implement GIS projects with limited resources, with limited budget, so that it can help many of our government, local government, state government, federal government, or other country of government of small countries in Africa to be able to adopt GIS software. And we go into QGIS and I'll show you some of the features that are very, very, very good that helps us to be able to do what exactly what ArcGIS can do, what Elders Imagine can do, what Idrisi can do, what some of these proprietary software that are very expensive. Some of them are about $10,000, some of them about ArcGIS server advanced is about $53,000. Imagine buying server, ArcGIS server of $53,000, now you can get GeoServer for free and you still do almost the same thing that ArcGIS can do. So in the next lecture, I will take you through QGIS and some of the facilities, some of the features that have been introduced into QGIS that makes it as commendable and formidable as and useful as any proprietary software that you can find in the market today. Thank you. I welcome you to subscribe to my channel, and as soon as a new video comes, you'll be alerted. Thank you, and God bless.